This is Valley News Live at noon.
Both Saturday and Sunday are first alert weather days as a storm system moves through the area. Let's go straight to meteorologist Lisa Green with what we could expect heading into the weekend. Lisa?
Well, good afternoon. We're looking at, yes, more winter weather coming our way to the region. We've got that potential for more snow and some that is falling today in the Northern Valley. We've got another round of it right along the Canadian border. Some of us have seen that snow accumulate on the road surface, leading to some slick spots earlier this morning. But in general, most of this is passing by to the north of us. Though, if you are along the border areas, you'll likely see more of those flakes as we go into the afternoon. Here's a look right now in Fargo. In the background here, you could see traffic looking pretty busy here in the noon hour. And we've got temperatures that are back up again into some milder numbers compared to yesterday. We were at 26 in Fargo. It's 20 in Grand Forks, 25 in Jamestown. Bemidji's at 20, and Fergus Falls is at 28. Slightly cooler in Devils Lake at 17 degrees, and a bit of a gray day going here. We've got some mostly cloudy skies. We may get an opportunity to see a break here and there, but overall, more of a mostly cloudy day and a breezy one. Temperatures, or rather wind speeds, into the teens with some gusts getting into the 20s, especially in the south, and even up to 32 miles per hour right now in Oaks. So a little bit of wind starting up here for this afternoon ahead of our weekend system. Here's a look at our planner. Expect to have temperatures that climb a few more degrees. We'll get to around 30 today in Fargo with mostly cloudy skies. And then, of course, we're looking ahead to the weekend. Right now, our winter weather headlines are an advisory that is in effect, a winter weather advisory for parts of the very southern end of the viewing area. That includes Traverse County, the Wheaton area, Sisseton and Roberts County, and back over to Marshall County in South Dakota, and then points south and then east as well under that winter weather advisory. That's where it's looking like right now. We'll see the greatest chance for several inches of snow with this system. We could get some heavy amounts in that band that sets up, depending on where that is, and it may just miss the valley. We're going to get into more details on that. And even if we miss that heavier band of snow, that doesn't mean we're free and clear. We still have chances for some precipitation, some wind, maybe a little bit of freezing rain this weekend. So more to talk about coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, if you're heading south, you want to keep that weather app handy. Thank you, Lisa. A fight overnight in Ukraine led to a fire near Europe's largest nuclear power plant. That fire is now out and Russian forces are in control. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
The International Atomic Energy Agency is closely monitoring a nuclear power plant in Ukraine after Russian forces attacked the facility. A shell slammed into a nearby building, sparking a fire.
We, of course, are fortunate that there was no release of radiation and that the integrity of the reactors in themselves was not compromised.
The U.S. Embassy in Kyiv called it a war crime, saying Putin's shelling of Europe's largest nuclear plant takes his reign of terror one step further.
The Russians have not been very discriminate in the way they're going about this military campaign, and they aren't known for accuracy and for precision, and certainly this is an example of just how dangerous this can get.
The Russians also released video showing they've taken control of Kherson, the first major city to be seized.
We have numerous cases, unfortunately, when Russian soldiers rape women in the Ukrainian cities.
The Pentagon says Russian forces may now be in a position to encircle an even bigger target, the critical port city of Odessa. President Biden is meeting with Finland's president at the White House this afternoon. Finland normally stays neutral and is not a member of NATO, but it's among neighboring countries growing increasingly concerned.
Wars like this just don't stay within boundaries, within borders. It's going to bleed over.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Brussels for meetings with NATO allies.
Ours is a defensive alliance. We seek no conflict. But if conflict comes to us, we're ready for it. And we will defend every inch of NATO territory.
Russia and Ukraine are expected to meet again on Monday for another round of talks. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
NATO Secretary General warned today that he foresees the war in Ukraine getting worse over the coming days, with more death and destruction as Russian forces expand their attack and bring in heavier weaponry. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz also signed an executive order today that would require state agencies to terminate their existing contracts with Russian entities and to refrain from entering any future contracts with them. Two Chicago police officers were shot and wounded earlier this morning in what police are calling an ambush. The gunman was waiting in line at a hot dog stand when police say he reached into his pocket to pay for his order when a gun fell out of his waistband. He then picked it up and started shooting at the officer in line behind him and the other officer in a police cruiser. The gunman fled but was quickly caught by law enforcement. The officer suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Workers sorting through thrift store donations in Minot made an unexpected discovery, and the source may be even more surprising. They found marijuana in a bag of donations, which was traced to the Berthold Police Department. The police chief says a recently closed criminal case involved marijuana, and the evidence was supposed to be destroyed, but it was accidentally placed in a truck of items to be donated to the thrift store. Recreational marijuana in South Dakota is dead for now. The state house killed a bill yesterday that would have made pot legal. The bill's sponsor says it's going to happen one way or another because more and more states are decriminalizing marijuana. Most of the ideas for a so-called Parents' Bill of Rights aren't expected to make it through the Minnesota legislation. The Republican-controlled state Senate yesterday narrowly passed a bill allowing parents to review instructional materials at their kids' schools. Senate GOP leaders deferred debate over one of the most contentious bills that's opposed by advocates for LGBTQ youth. The Democratic-controlled House is likely to vote down most of the Parents' Bills of Rights ideas this session. Coming up at noon, gas prices have reached a 10-year high. How much you could soon be paying at the pump. But next, Lisa's in to tell us about a storm system that's going to move through the area.